Pat Sajak has been a beloved presence in the lives of TV audiences across the nation for decades for his long-running gig as host of Wheel of Fortune. But he's also been a beloved presence in the lives of his family. Pat's first wife was a woman named Sherrill Sajak. The two were married in 1979 and divorced in 1986. A few years later, Pat married Leslie Brown, and they're currently still married. They have 2 children together. Join Factsverse as we explore the surprising truth about Pat Sajak's family. Before Pat met his second wife and started his family, he was married to his first wife, Sherrill Sajak. Sherrill was born in 1945 and wasn't a notable celebrity outside of her marriage to Pat. However, her marriage to him in 1979 brought her plenty of tabloid attention. Over the years, Sherrill grew increasingly displeased with the amount of attention she was getting as a result of being a famous game show announcer's spouse. She preferred to keep her private life to herself, which caused a schism between the two of them early on. Still, they made it work for nearly a decade before parting ways in 1985. Although Sherrill was hesitant to take the spotlight during her marriage to Pat, the tabloids were still able to glean quite a bit about the couple's personal life. Over the course of the time they were together, it became apparent that Pat and Sherrill simply weren't spending enough time together. Sherrill and Pat met for the first time in Nashville, Tennessee. They had only been dating for around a year before they decided to tie the knot, and they did so during a small and personal family ceremony in 1979. However, things proved not so simple once the two entered into their new daily life together. Soon into their marriage, Pat and Sherrill began to find they had trouble spending time together. The two became involved in separate interests and gradually began spending more and more time apart. Although they seemed to be inseparable during the early days of their marriage, they couldn't have seemed further apart during the last days of it. Over the years, it became more and more apparent something needed to change. They separated in 1985 and officially divorced in 86. Sherrill was likely glad to be out of the spotlight since she was never comfortable with it. However, the divorce for Pat meant a void he would have to fill in his personal life, leading to a second marriage a few years down the line. After their separation in 85, the tabloids took notice. Many were surprised to learn the couple hadn't been spending time together, as they'd made numerous public appearances together since their marriage ceremony. Given Pat's celebrity status, it's not too surprising to learn that the game show host had a lot of success in the dating scene. Pat made his way around the local singles scene for a couple years before making a second wife out of Playboy model Leslie Brown. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. And stick around for more on Pat Sajak. Despite the fact that Pat was able to recover from his divorce from Sherrill, it appears as if Sherrill never married again. As it turns out, not much is known about her life or whereabouts after divorcing from Pat. But we can assume that's probably how Sherrill wants it to be. Sherrill and Pat may not have had any children, but he had a few with his second wife. Their first child, Patrick, was born in 1990. Their second, Maggie Marie, in 1995. Since then, Pat and Leslie have remained together, but have refrained from having more kids. But Pat has maintained consistent success as the host of Wheel of Fortune. His second child, Maggie, has even walked in her father's shoes. She's filled in for her father as host of Wheel of Fortune a few times. Although Maggie isn't looking to host any game shows of her own anytime soon, she's also found some personal success elsewhere in the field of entertainment. She began playing music when she was only 13 and even made an effort to make a career out of it. Her first official song was released in 2011, and she released 2 other singles since. But more recently, she's turned her attention to becoming a doctor. This is a dream Pat wholeheartedly endorses, knowing how rare it is that a child is as successful in entertainment as their parent. It appears Pat's marriage to Leslie Brown has been happy and healthy since its inception. However, many have wondered if the marriage between the two has always been as healthy as it seems. Many have wondered if Pat has ever cheated on Leslie with his Wheel of Fortune co-host, Vanna White. Vanna has been Pat's co-host since near the beginning of his time on Wheel of Fortune, and they've become permanently intertwined in the eyes of the TV audience. As such, many have speculated over the years that the on-screen chemistry between the two has somehow translated over into the real world. However, both parties have routinely expressed that their relationship remains entirely professional and friendly, and not at all romantic. Although Pat's marriage to Leslie has been incredibly successful over the years, he's found himself in other types of controversy. Much of this controversy is due to his standing as a Republican in a largely Democratic entertainment industry. He's often flaunted his conservative attitudes, including in a notorious tweet he made in 2014. The tweet was a sarcastic joke about gay marriage, but it still managed to catch the ire of many avid Wheel of Fortune fans. Since Cheryl's divorce from Pat, many onlookers have been curious about how much of his wealth Cheryl received. Thankfully, Pat's ex-wife was able to receive a modest amount of wealth in the settlement. As of today, it appears Cheryl retains a net worth of nearly $1 million, thanks to both cash settlements and received property in the wake of her divorce. When all is said and done, Pat and Leslie have been together for over 3 decades. However, Pat has recalled that the romance didn't immediately blossom. According to him, the two took the time to get to know each other before deciding they should start dating. Pat says that at first the relationship was something a bit more casual. However, the two eventually realized they were made for each other and began allocating a great deal more time to each other. Pat suffered from some health issues in 2019, which caused heartache amongst both his family and fans. He had to undergo emergency intestinal surgery to remove a blockage. Afterwards, the host had to recover for a period of time and was therefore unable to appear on Wheel of Fortune. Thankfully, Pat soon made a full recovery and returned to the show later the same year. Pat is currently signed on to Wheel of Fortune until 2022. He has an estimated net worth of $70 million, and that number will likely only grow higher in the following years. As of today, the show has produced over 7,000 episodes. Now it's time to hear from you. Comment down below to share what you think Sherrill Sajak might be up to today. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Facts Verse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.